When you can't make it to City Hall or the school board meetings, local journalists from duluthnewstribune.com will be there to report the facts and get your questions answered. Local news works for you. Stay up to date at duluthnewstribune.com.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Tuesday, August 22nd. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union's services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. When it came to putting together a 2024 budget proposal, St. Paul legislators made Mayor Emily Larson's job a lot easier this year. During a presentation to the City Council Monday night, she referred to the $4.37 million in additional local government aid payments Duluth expects to receive next year as, quote, an absolute game changer, end quote. That represents a 14.2% boost in 2024 assistance. Local government aid is expected to account for 32% of Duluth's total revenues next year, and Larson said the additional state aid is as welcome as it is long overdue.
For 2 decades, Duluth has been caught in a tight squeeze, and when I took office, Duluth was getting the same amount of local government aid assistance that it had received 20 years ago in 2002. And we all know that over the last 20 years, the cost of everything has gone up, and every single household in Duluth knows this. So while costs were all increasing, the biggest portion of Duluth's revenue, state LGA, was staying the same, and the result has been a tremendous amount of pressure on our property taxpayers, a tremendous amount of pressure on our staff, and it's been unsustainable, or it would be unsustainable moving forward. But the squeeze has also had consequences besides the higher property taxes. It meant that for 2 decades, we have struggled to provide core services, like our streets, our parks, our public safety, like the way that we want to, and the way that we expect to.
She predicts the additional aid should enable the city to up its game while holding local property taxes in check. Larson calls for a 2% increase in the local levy next year, which she notes is less than the ongoing rate of inflation. Under her plan, Larson said the owner of a medium-priced $213,000 home would see taxes decline by about $60 next year, assuming no increase in the assessed value of the property. Meanwhile, the owner of a $250,000 commercial property would see $136 in property tax relief if Larson's budget proposal receives the City Council's blessing. In all, Larson is proposing a city property tax levy of about $42.15 million in 2024, or about $824,000 more than this year.
In this budget, we are investing in our streets, a record $14 million next year for street repair, which will continue moving the city on a path toward a sustainable street repair cycle. We are expecting 18.4 miles to be repaired next year. And as a reminder, 7 years ago, when I came into office, we were doing 2 miles of road a year.
Larson also proposes that Duluth provide $1.8 million in one-time service bonuses to city staff. She aims to create some new positions as well, including a grants accountant to help oversee and administer the hundreds of millions of dollars in grants the city has been able to obtain, and the hiring of an additional housing inspector. Larson proposes to cover the $110,000 cost of hiring an additional housing inspector using money from Duluth's Housing Trust Fund. She also aims to draw $9.2 million from Duluth's $28 million in general fund reserves, largely to help fund increased street work and address capital equipment needs and tackle irrigation improvements at the Anger Park Golf Course. Larson said using the proposed reserves will leave Duluth with more than adequate emergency funds to ensure the city's bond rating is not downgraded. The City Council will need to establish the maximum levy the city can charge before the end of September. The final budget will need to be set before year's end. A new type of housing development is coming to town. It's called a cottage village. Small, inward-facing, freestanding homes are clustered around a pond and common green space, interlaced with walkways. The Duluth Housing and Redevelopment Authority hosted a ribbon cutting at its soon-to-be-occupied Fairmount Cottages housing development Monday afternoon. Jill Keppers, executive director of the local HRA, noted that the innovative project is the first of its kind built in Duluth, but also is a first in another sense. It'll be the first to create local housing with the help of American Rescue Plan Act pandemic relief funding. Duluth funneled $1.15 million in federal ARPA funds into the project as part of a $19 million overall investment to boost the city's inventory of affordable housing. The HRA broke ground on its 18-unit Fairmount cottages in September and is on pace to welcome its first residents less than 1 year later, adhering to an ambitious and impressive timeline, as noted by Matt Baumgartner, president of the Duluth Area Chamber of Commerce. Fairmount cottages will be a mixed-income development, with homes offered to income-qualified people making anywhere from 50% to 100% of the area median income. That means rents will range from a low of as little as $748 a month for a one-bedroom home at the low end of the income spectrum to $1,700 a month for a market-rate two-bedroom house. Duluth Mayor Emily Larson said her administration, with City Council support, agreed that $19 million of the $58 million in pandemic relief funding Duluth received from the federal government should be invested in the creation of additional long-term affordable housing. Kepper said the first 9 homes in the development were just inspected, and she hopes to have certificates for occupancy in hand by the end of the week. By October, she believes Fairmount cottages could be at full capacity. A cougar has been meandering around the area in recent days, captured by multiple video cameras, most recently in the northern neighborhoods of the city. Between video doorbell cameras, security cameras, and trail cameras, not much happens around the city without it getting reported, said Kip Duncan, Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Conservation Officer for Eastern Duluth. Duncan has received multiple videos of the big cat. While some could have been recorded anywhere, he's sure of one location at the intersection of McQuaid Road and the Minnesota Highway 61 Expressway. He said it's likely the other videos are authentic as well considering the timing. Other, as yet unconfirmed sightings put the cat near Glenwood and Everett Streets and just off Howard Ganeson Road in the Kenwood neighborhood, all before dawn Monday. There's not much the DNR or any other agency can do about the big cat other than monitor reports. There's little danger of the cougar harming anyone, but it may be best not to leave pets outdoors with no people around. Confirmed cougar sightings in the Northland are uncommon, but they occur almost every year, wildlife officials say, as the animals move through from western states. While cougars, also called mountain lions, were native to Minnesota before European settlers arrived, there's little evidence they are staying or reproducing in the Northland today. The DNR says most cougars here are believed to be wandering young male cats pushed out of their home range. Most are believed to be passing through, originally from the western Dakotas, searching for female cat companionship. Other cougars confirmed in the region have turned out to be released or escaped pets. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by Superior Telegram's history podcast, Archive Dive.
Good morning. Here's today's weather forecast for the greater Duluth Harbor area. We continue to be sitting just north of a large area of warm, sticky air in the Middle West. We're not getting too much of that, but it will influence our weather by giving us some scattered showers and thunder showers today. Duluth's high in the lower 70s. It will be a few degrees warmer in northern Wisconsin. East winds around 15 to 25. For tonight, maybe some spotty sprinkles, otherwise mostly cloudy with a low around 60, and tomorrow partly sunny with a high in the upper 70s. A little bit warmer than that, headed for the 80s Thursday. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to Archive Dive for their support. The monthly history podcast, hosted by Superior Telegram reporter Maria Lockwood, dips into the archives of historic events, people, and places around Superior and Douglas County. You can find the latest episode of Archive Dive at superiortelegram.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Peter Passy and John Myers. Thank you for listening to the Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.